Hi there, this is Nick Reich, Assistant Professor of Biostatistics at the University of Massachusetts School of Public Health and Health Sciences, and this short video is going to be a demonstration of how to create a GitHub project on RStudio and how to push and pull files from that repository and project. So I'm going to start by assuming that you have a GitHub account, and there are two ways that we can go forward. One is you could create a new repository, and you can do that by clicking on this up here. So we could say, this is my test repo. I'm going to make it public. I often like to initialize things with a README, and we'll say create repository. Now, if you're logged in, you'll see down here this SSH clone URL. So you can single click there, highlights it. I've just copied it to my clipboard, and now I'm going to move to my RStudio space. I already have RStudio open. I go up to the project window, click, and select new project. I say I want to check out a project from an existing version control repository. The project I've created is a Git project, and here I put in the repository. I paste the repository URL from GitHub. This automatically gives, sort of assigns the name to the project and the directory that will be created for this project on your local machine. It assigns it whatever you've called the project on GitHub. You can browse through your directory of files by clicking here and give it a location where you want it to be. And then you say create project. And now you'll notice that instead of saying new project up here, it says you're part of the test repo project. It's added the Git tab here. And you can see the files that are part of the files, your documents, work, talks, test repo folder on your computer are right here. So this readme .md file is the one file that currently exists in the repository, but let's say we wanted to create a new file. I want to create a new R script. I could say this is a test script, and we say RA is our norm 100, and then plot A. So just two really simple commands. I'm going to save this, and it tells me to save it right here, so I'm just going to say test code. I save that file, and now the first thing you need to do is commit this file to your local Git repository. So I commit, and I say I want to just commit this testcode.r file. I typically don't commit these .rproj and .gitignore files, although it might be a decent idea to update and commit your gitignore. And I'm just going to add a commit message saying first commit of test code. And I say commit, so when I click that commit button, it commits the file change and the 4 insertions that I've made to my local Git repository, and then by pushing that file I can push it up, and now those changes are stored on GitHub. So now, and you can see this by, if I click back over to GitHub, here I am at my test repository. If I refresh, you can see that this testcode.r file is there, and here are my commands that have been up on it. So that's the very simple way to push and pull from GitHub. Maybe one other thing to show is if we just make a small change to this file, say plot A xlim equals -2 to 2, and make a update testcode.r. I commit these changes. So you can also clearly you probably don't want to make extensive changes online, but you could make small changes online, commit those changes, and now if I go back to RStudio, I can go to Git and say pull branches, and this now, my change right up here is right over here. So there you go. That is a very simple lesson in how to create a Git repository and do some simple committing and pushing and pulling. Thanks for your attention.